Coin Metro.
We are live.
We are live. I could have just said something really silly there whilst you pressed live.
Wow. Let's see what happens.
Just take chances, yeah. Why not?
Let's go crazy. It's crypto. It's
crazy.
crypto today. And while we're at it, let's put on a bit of the old Greek. Gotta love a bit of Greek Bella Ciao. So, mate, I was just chomping down a bit of Green and Black's dark chocolate.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I wonder what type of chocolate Mr. Demi likes. What's your chocolate that you like?
I'm not a big chocolate eater,
Ooh.
but yeah, I don't really eat a lot of chocolate, to be honest. But yeah, I would try and go for a healthier option like that, Green and Blacks, if I can. They do quite nice ones, those ones. There's a sea salt one that's quite nice. I think it's yeah, that's nice.
But if I have the sea salt one, it's all gone before I've even taken a breath.
Yeah, very Moorish, isn't it?
Ridiculous. That's why I have to stick with the dark chocolate.
Yeah, but dark chocolate's is good for you, isn't it?
Well, I think everything is and everything isn't, right? Again, it's like we say, it's about checking in and seeing what our body wants and what our body's saying. So.
Yeah, but I think there's some things like dairy, I don't think they can be good for anybody.
Again, you'd be surprised. Somebody's body might need it, mate.
Maybe, if there were a cow in a former life.
Maybe so, but that could be a reason why. Another one I love is Bouja Bouja. Have you ever tried Bouja Bouja?
Bouja Bouja, no.
Yeah. They're like truffles, dairy-free truffles. They are amazing. Really.
I don't think we have them over here.
No, this is where I first tried them when I was living in London.
Dairy-free truffles.
Amazing, mate. They're a bit pricey, but they are totally worth it.
So what are they made out of? Coconut or?
Yeah, something? all of that sort of.
Okay.
And yeah, really hard to get over here in Australia.
You'll have to tell me that. I don't know how to spell Bouja. If I type in Bouja Bouja, who knows what's going to come on Google? And then my missus will be looking at my browsing history, say, "What the hell is this?"
Valid point, mate. Valid point. My missus had never heard of it, and she fancies herself as a bit of a chocolate aficionado, as most women seem to do. So I ordered some. We managed to get some, and she was like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" So now it's like her new favorite chocolate, but it's bloody expensive for this. So she only gets it for her birthday now or anniversary or something.
Everyday stuff. It's just a Kit Kat.
Or Green and Blacks. Green and Blacks always seems to be on offer over here. So,
what is it expensive over there or expensive in London as well?
It's more expensive here because they have to get it. They have to get Bouja Bouja shipped in. So I realized that we've just been having a chat about chocolate.
I know. We're just ignoring the people that we love.
A little bit random, but Facebook user, please log in to the StreamYard link at the bottom of this link.
I bet that's Nick.
You reckon?
It might not be Nick actually. Nick's on.
No, Nick's on YouTube. He's tuning in live on YouTube. Which, if I was anywhere near professional, I would be saying that we're live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. So we've got Nicholas on YouTube. We've got Yanis on YouTube. We've got Raj on Facebook. She knows the Bouja Bouja. She knows what's up. Classy girl. That's all we can say. It's about 15 nicker in the UK, and it's more than that.
For what? For what? How much?
For about 9 little truffles.
No, really?
Yeah, but it's in a nice box.
Oh, that makes up for it then. That's what I look for.
Mate, it really does. When I was selling products on Amazon, literally you can charge more if you put it in nice packaging. Do the design, make it like really nice, like thick cardboard and everything. It's amazing, that premium feel, and chocolates have taken it to the next level. Look at phones, mate. You get your new phone and it's in like a really glossy, sleek box, and you kind of slide it out. It's like a whole ritual and a whole ceremony, right?
Yeah. Do you think you could sell Kit Kat for more if you put it in a nice box? Maybe you could break up the fingers, put 4 fingers in a box, sprinkle it with some things.
Exactly. Kit Kat Cryptos. Kit Kat Cryptos, put it in a little box. Put one of your, like a fortune cookie. We could put in one of your crypto long-term holdings in there. I think.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Great idea. we would do a roaring trade, mate. So Andy's in the house.
People in this group would buy it.
Maybe. They're just to get one of your long-term holdings, I think. Andy's in the house live as well, and he's was going to say that's why iPhones are so expensive. But do you remember? I remember like 10, 15 years ago, this whole thing, like the phones, like Apple changed the game with everything, but just their packaging and everything, it was just like next level. It was like, wow, this is so cool. It's like a ceremony. You're opening it up. I don't know if that's just me. Looking by the reaction on your face, that's just me. That wasn't something you.
It's not me. I've got to say, I'm just get rid of the box and open and get my phone out.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I understand it. I understand what you're saying.
Fair enough. But look, with that being said, we'll cut the chocolate talk. We'll talk less about packaging, and we will jump into the content, because like Andy's also saying, it's about the user experience, and we want to make sure you have a good experience today. So I thought it'd be interesting to do something a little bit different. The two main cryptos on everyone's lips right now, Cardano and Ethereum. So I want to do a little face-off. So let's start from the beginning. Let's let people hear from the mindset of a professional trader, what they are, what they do. I know that you're in both. I know that you've been managing your portfolio and taking some out and moving it in to the other one to maximize your returns. And what I'd love to do is put you on the spot. Let's go and do some live technical analysis on both of them. And let's hear from you, your prediction, which one you think will be higher by the end of the year, Cardano or Ethereum. And I think it's an interesting topic.
Yeah. I mean, just kind of for the record, I think both will go higher. But what you're referring to is, something that I do in order to maximize my gains, and that is to, so there's different ways you can add more money, you can leverage to increase your position size, and if it goes well, then you obviously make more money. If it goes badly, then it goes against you. But the thing with portfolio management is it's not a case of like, in this example, I moved Cardano over to Ethereum, not because I think Ethereum is better, but because I felt that Cardano had already really, really pumped hard, and it of course could just carry on, but it had gone from $1 to $3 quite quickly, which is like a 3x. And if you look at Ethereum at the same time, it was basically ranging, building up that energy, and then so I felt it was better value, and that's kind of been a great decision. As you've probably seen, Ethereum has done better in that time period. So let me let's bring up the screen and have a little look at these. I know if you guys have been watching, the cryptos have had a bit of a pullback today, which is pretty normal, guys. I mean, they've been going up a lot, and it's pretty normal for us to get a pullback here. So
what's your rationale, mate? Just before we do that, so before we go into that, just let's give everybody, for the new people here, let's just give a top line overview from a professional trader's point of view of what Cardano is, what its benefits are, why you think it's going to keep going up in price, and maybe do the same for Ethereum. But before we do that, what's been your reasoning? Why we've had this push? What's your thesis on why we've had this bump up over the last couple of days?
Well, from a sort of, I mean, in terms of there's two different questions there. So the move up in Ethereum is really is more technical. So yes, there's been a lot of demand in general for these cryptos and for Ethereum in particular. But whilst other coins were going, Ethereum was basically just sitting there, not doing anything. So it felt like only a matter of time before it would go higher. That's what the charts were showing us. From a sort of interest point of view, I mean, they're both they're competitors, but they can kind of sit in the same space. You know, the way I like to look at Ethereum and Cardano, it's like, you know, you can have Microsoft and you can have, you know, Apple. It doesn't mean they can't work side by side. I think the advantages that Ethereum has over Cardano is that it's way further ahead in its usage, its people that, you know, in its users ultimately. And I think that makes a big difference. You know, there's so many good projects now built on the Ethereum network that, you know, that it's hard to overlook it. And, you know, one of the biggest problems that we've had with Ethereum is the high gas fees, which the 2.0 update is essentially sorting out. Cardano, I think, is going to grow. There's a lot of things that it needs to develop still, but most importantly, yeah, you've got the you know, they've built that ERC20 converter, so basically you can convert an Ethereum project over to the Cardano network, but it's not that simple to make people change. So I do think that, you know, as time goes, I think both will grow. Cardano relatively is, you know, I think we worked it out the other day, maybe 5 times cheaper or something along those lines than Ethereum. But yeah, I mean, Ethereum for me is a safer bet over the long haul. Just because I think it's just way further along. And yes, Cardano can catch up, but like I said, I think the fact that we've got so many good projects that are working on the Ethereum network, I just can't see it I can't see past you know, Ethereum. And I think that with a limited supply, with the new sort of with the burning of Ethereum tokens, the supply is getting smaller and smaller.
Yes.
Demand is still there. That's only going to increase the price. So these updates have really helped really reduce the supply in Ethereum. So a lot of the coins are going to get burned. They won't even go into the market. So essentially, we are less supply, same or more demand can only lead to the price increasing. So, but I think you should invest in both. And Solana is another one as well, which again is in the same space that actually improves, you know, from what I've kind of studied, improves a lot of the things, the limitations, but on both Ethereum and Cardano, especially the speed of transaction. And that's why you've seen Solana really rapidly increase. So I definitely recommend that you look to get some of that as well as part of our portfolio. But just make sure you get a pullback.
Are you talking of speed of transaction? The fastest one in the market is Cardano. It kicks the crap out of all of them. Ethereum, Cardano, obviously Bitcoins is now more of a store of wealth. So if you're interested in speed of transaction and something for the future, Cardano, KDA is an interesting longer term project. I think the other guys will grow quicker, but definitely worth one watching for the future. That's for sure. So with that being said, let's jump in, because the charts never lie, regardless of what is in the news. And it's just going to be an interesting one to do a head-to-head face-off between the two big hitters of the moment. So this week's Crypto Like a Pro trade setup of the week is a face-off between Cardano and Ethereum. And then we're going to put Andy on the spot, and he's going to make a prediction based on the technicals right now, which one he thinks will go higher by the end of the year.
Yeah, sure. So we'll start with Cardano here. So, you know, one of the things that you can kind of probably even see yourselves is this 50 EMA has proven to be quite reliable as a dynamic support and a dynamic resistance. So right now, the thing that looks like, if you're looking for a way, if you didn't buy Cardano, and you're looking for a way to get in, for me, you can't look too far away from this little zone here. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure that we would pull back to that. I think today's pullback is quite significant. I mean, we'll see how we close, but there's potential there for us to go back into this zone here, and I think that would represent really good opportunity to pick some of this up around that sort of 230 area. I'm just going to have a little look at the fibs on this one as well. Let's see if the indicator will do me a favor and work for me. If not, I'm going to do this manually just to make sure that we get this correct. And okay, so this is I'm just doing this fast, guys. So yeah, so we hit the 1618 there. So yeah, I can see why we are pulling back here. So we've hit the 30. Yeah, I mean, that's a really great area there.
Isn't it?
Yeah, the 618. So I think this is if you're looking to buy this, I think 230, guys, 232 is a really nice area to put a bid in there. You're coming into the 50 EMA support, and then off the back of that, I'd be expecting the next push up towards between $2.67 and $4. I think that's your kind of next setup, essentially. What we can also do is just have a little look at a couple of things here. So
guys, whilst Andy's doing that, if you've got any questions, let us know. Just pop them in the comment section, and I'll be jumping in and out of this to check on them. So yeah, any questions, just let us know, guys.
Yeah, so I'm just going to have a little look here. It looks like a bit of a hidden line there. And I'm going to take this hidden line and have a look to see if there's anything interesting happening here. So, you can kind of see at the moment we are right. That's probably why it stopped there. There's a bit of support coming in there. And then I think there's a bit of a reaction line there as well. So, I think if you're somebody who's accumulating right now, I mean, you could buy a little bit here, because what this might end up being, guys, is you might see this as a push up, a flag here, right? And then the market may never pull back to here. So in which case you could just see a quick run up to like here, basically. So, and I would kind of use this as a block to target. So that's one option. So you could buy some here, and then you could consider basically adding more around this area here, which is around that sort of $2.30 zone for that move up. So that's kind of how I would do it. I'd probably split my entries up on Cardano. So I think let's have a look to see if we can see anything else here. Whoops. Now, if you kind of look at the way this market has gone up, it's gone up pretty fast. And that's kind of why, we've been sort of talking about, maybe it needs a breather, but maybe this could be the last push, like, especially if it maintains this sort of speed. I'll be surprised if it can go, beyond sort of this zone before a significant pullback. But I think right now, that's kind of what I see. I don't really see much more. I think we could potentially have a look to see where, this market might stop. You might want to draw this line in and just add an alert on here. Resistance line on daily, good for take profit. So if you're still in Cardano in your spot or your margin or whatever, and you're going to hold this out, I would certainly consider taking some off the table if we can have a push up towards this area here. I think that is a natural place for a retracement. So it wouldn't surprise me if we kind of did this and then did something like that before a move higher. That's pretty much the picture that I see right now in Cardano. Shall I move on to Ethereum? Is there anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, so before that, so we've had a couple of questions. So before we go and compare Ethereum, before you make your prediction, let's just answer a couple of questions. So Zach's tuning in from Japan. I have a question. I've noticed recently that when different countries are awake, a coin I thought was bearish gets a random bullish spike or vice versa. I wanted to know, is that a normal occurrence?
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot in the FX markets as well. So, you've got to remember that it is people that are trading this. So, if, for example, during the London session, like say 7 a.m. till 10 a.m., Cardano sells off and maybe it's done its typical range for the day. Maybe it's down 2%, 3%, 4%, whatever. And it's down, what it would normally do for the day. And then the New York session starts. So the Americans are waking up and looking at the charts to trade Cardano. Well, the market's already fallen 5-6%. So what are they going to do? Are they going to sell it more? Well, they're probably going to buy it. So you should definitely look at the three main sessions are the London session, the New York session, and the Asian session. So Asian session is like around midnight to 3 a.m. New York is about 1 till 4 UK time, and then London is between 7 and 10. So they, and often when I wake up in the morning, so I'm normally up about 6, and if I see the cryptos are down, I'm always thinking, okay, I'm waiting for opportunities for London because London might just start buying it. So sometimes, there's traders that are closing positions overnight, or Asian has the Asian session has sold them off, and combined with profit taking, and then London wakes up and they're like, okay, well, it's down, they're at levels, let's buy them. So then sometimes whatever Asia has done, London just reverses. And then vice versa, London reverses it, New York might sell it. So if you catch a nice move in the morning, UK time, and it's sort of end of session and you're looking at it and we've hit the top range of the DTR, and there's new traders coming into the markets at 1 p.m. And I'm talking all local time UK here, guys. So you have to do the equivalent for yourselves. Then that most likely they'll probably reverse it. So again, for day trades, it's a good time to maybe even take profits.
Cool.
I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, very, very comprehensive. I just want to say a shout out to Con, who's tuning in live. Also, Susan Fletcher, she's saying, hi, guys. I don't seem to have any sound. Is anyone else having issues? A couple of people have said no. I just checked on my phone a bit earlier and the sound was coming out fine. So hopefully you've managed to get that sorted out. So with that being said, Zach saying, yep, that answers a lot. Thank you very much. Andy saying that tech analysis on ADA is way beyond my knowledge. I have a long way to go, but happy to keep plugging away. So that's why we're here, guys, just so that, again, it's just by learning by osmosis and just picking things up as we go. And whether you're just more concentrating on spot and being a little bit more patient to get your gains, this helps massively. Being able to interpret the charts and where to get in and where to get out and things like that is really great. Obviously, if you're being more aggressive, if it suits your personality and your free time, etc., then again, it's going to be even more valuable. So keep plugging away, mate, for sure. And I know you're on here most weeks, so you're going to be getting a lot of value as you are in our course, because I know you signed up for the course recently as well. So hopefully you'll be getting some exponential growth in your knowledge. So with that being said, that's one half of today's show done with ADA, Cardano. So hopefully you've got your prices marked for your entry, possibly on the next wave up, and maybe a potential take profit. So let's move over to Ethereum and do the other half of the face off before we put you on the spot and ask you to make your prediction.
Sure. Okay, so we've got Ethereum here. So let's have a little look to see. What's up with it today? Okay, so here we are. So Ethereum.
What's your initial thoughts there? Because it seems to be it looks quite similar, right? It looks quite similar setup at the moment, just off the naked eye.
This hasn't broken its all-time high yet.
True.
Cardano has. So I think Ethereum is still lagging over the last few weeks anyway. So it's just the last few weeks where the lag is. Obviously, Ethereum is a bigger coin. It's a higher market cap coin. But yeah, I'm expecting the all-time highs to break. Obviously, 4K is resistance. It's a natural place where people might take some profit. But yeah, let's have a look. I will break this down as I would be doing for myself, and I will come up with some conclusions here. So again, I mean, in a sort of similar fashion to Cardano, you can kind of see in general, the 50 EMA is quite good support and resistance. And obviously we've moved a little bit away from that right now. One thing you can do, I'll show you a little trick. I don't know if you can get them on here, but you can build an envelope. So I'll show you if I can do it on here. This could be quite useful. So I'm just doing things on the spot. So it may not work, guys. I'll explain it in 1 second. That's very interesting, what I've just done there, even if I do say so myself. So
yeah, you're probably saying you're the only one saying that until you feel like
no. So basically, what I basically wanted to achieve there is, you know, like if you find a moving average like the 50, which holds as good support, well, it's great. Like if it's at the 50, then you say, well, that's obvious. I buy it at the 50 because it acts as support. But what happens when we run away? How far is too far? Well, if you look at an envelope like this, you can see history. The history tells me that when it moved away from this 50 moving average, this is the length of the envelope. So during these periods here, for example, it didn't go anywhere near that. So it had room to go up. So you can see there, as soon as we hit that envelope, the market collapsed. And we have got, at this stage, that's a push up to here, which is very interesting. It's that sort of 5, and everybody knows 5K is going to be some significance to it. So that's great. Quite happy that I identified that.
Demi strikes again, huh?
Yeah. So that's really awesome. So basically, at the moment, what I've identified essentially in simple terms is that there is potential room up without it being overextended. Like it can go up higher. Like, yes, this was quite parabolic. Now, the other thing we could do if we had a bit more time, I'd probably study this a bit more, fit it to the market and find multiple envelopes. But just to kind of, I don't want to scare people and get them to run away. So we'll keep this as is, but I'm just going to break down a couple of things here, and we'll work things out. Let's see where the significant support and resistance comes in. So that's a really, really nice zone. If we got a big pullback, I like that a lot. That would just take us back into here, basically, which is that sort of 3-2 zone. Let me see if I take this and project it up. What happens there? Well, there you go. So that kind of makes a lot of sense why Ethereum is struggling to break through. So and look at that. What a great buy this is right there, because you've also got the median line here. So if you can see this brown line, it's like that. It's like an average. And you can see the markets pretty much stay within this average. Eventually they come back. So if you haven't bought Ethereum, or if you're looking for a price, I think anywhere kind of here around that sort of 3.2, 3.3 is a great entry, and we're not a million miles away from that. So if we just take the fib tool here, I'm also going to just see where the 618 comes in around 3,400, guys. I think that is a really nice area to potentially buy some more Ethereum if you're not in it. And then I'll also do one more thing here. I'm going to take the big fib. I want to see where the so this is a shallow pullback. I don't think we're going this low. If we stick with a shallow pullback, which basically means we haven't gone back to this red line, we normally will see an overextension. That overextension takes you to here. And that is 5,000. And there's a double overextension there. I really love this setup. A buy around 3-4, and then we take it up to 5. I really like that setup.
Boom.
Yeah. A lot. And that's a setup that I'm going to be looking at. I think it's a really high, if we can get it somewhere here, I think it's a really high probability setup. And if you are in need of a stop, I'd put it just below this little block here and below this red and brown line. So if you want to stop, probably here would make sense, somewhere there. Or say for those that want to be a bit safer, you can go below the 38.2 down here, but I don't think you need to go that low. So yeah, I mean, obviously we don't know. This could just break through, but I do think if it does break through, guys. So if you're long Ethereum right now, I wouldn't necessarily do anything. You could stay long, but if it does, let's say it doesn't pull back and just blast through, which it can do. I think if we go up really fast into this zone of 5,000, I think you got to take off a lot off the table, that price, let the pullback happen, and then rebuy it cheaper. So what I can do, well, firstly, if there's any questions, and then the last thing that I can do is we can just have a little look at ADA versus ETH as a direct comparison.
Nice.
Any questions, Gav, from anyone?
Anita's saying, very cool Facebook user, identify yourself, please. But we like your comment, so it's okay. Love the envelope tip. We'll test it out. and see how we go. Yeah, so people are loving the content. So no, let's continue.
Okay, so this is ADA versus Ethereum. So if you ever want to balance your portfolio out, guys, then this is a way to do it. So what I tend to do is I have a diversified portfolio and I have a mixture of cryptos. I generally won't touch them unless something crazy has happened, like the other day with Cello. And I did take off some off the table because that was just unreal, where it literally did over 100% in a couple of hours, right? On a solid coin, not something that was like, it's not something obscure with a really low market cap. So that was unreal. But in general, I don't mess with my other coin holdings unless they really, really go parabolic and I think, okay, they're overpriced now. I'm going to take some profit at the table and go leave it in dollars and buy it cheaper and then use the spare money to put it somewhere else. But I do move my allocation of my majors, which is Cardano, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. So I have a weighting, let's call it, whatever it is, 20%, let's say, that is allocated to these three. And so I've got an option, right? I've got an option. I could split my 20%, sort of 6.7% each, one, whatever, if that's the correct maths. And I could, and I could just keep my life simple, or I could reallocate based on what's happening. So I generally will reallocate. So when Cardano, for example, went to $3, I thought to myself, okay, well, it's had a pump. Ethereum has not. And Ethereum looks like it's going to have a pump. Why should I keep my money in Cardano? I will move all of my allocation. And I did a video. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I posted it of when I was doing it live. So I pretty much swapped Cardano for Ethereum around here somewhere. And you can see the market's kind of come off since then. But now, if I looked at this and I thought, okay, is it an idea now to swap some Ethereum for Cardano? I would say yes. I think it's the right time to start moving over some of the Ethereum into Cardano. Why? Because we're now at old support. So old resistance, that becomes support. So it's at a decent price now where you could say, okay, I could see Cardano outperforming Ethereum. So I could now start to reallocate, and it's pulled back to its 50 EMA. It's like a good little zone. It's kind of done a bit of a low test so far. So I could now take some of my Ethereum and move it back into Cardano in anticipation that Cardano is going to go up. So that's kind of like the general approach. Now, on the whole, that's kind of my preference. Now, I know you've asked me to make a prediction, and I'll get to that. But I guess it's quite simple. I can make a prediction for the next run, and like I have. So if we kind of get it correct, and let's say we buy Cardano at 2.6 and we take it to 4, and then we buy Ethereum at 3.4K and we take it to 5K. So I'm going to do the maths. Which one has the highest percentage gain? And let us know in the comments what the percentage is for Cardano and Ethereum.
They look roughly the same, don't they? Maybe a little bit on the side of Ethereum just on the naked eye. But if someone can do the math, that would be great. Whilst someone is doing the math, Andy, can you just explain, because I know there'll be some newer people here, how you've got Cardano versus Ethereum. We've looked at the charts individually. How is this calculated? Like, why is this showing this? Is this Ethereum versus how can you just explain in an elevator pitch why this is exhibiting this chart action like it is, or the price action?
Yeah, because the two charts that we looked at is the two individual cryptos versus the dollar. So, for example, let's say we made so we think, looking at the charts, if you think about what we discussed when we looked at Cardano, we've been talking about, okay, Cardano is probably ready to go up now between 2.6 and 2.3. So it could go up from here. It could go a little bit lower and then go up. Ethereum had hit that channel line, and it was at a point where it might pull back to that 3,400 zone. Okay. So if Ethereum goes down, Cardano goes up. Obviously, this makes sense, right? Because Cardano, you'll see Cardano going up here. If Ethereum goes down and Cardano goes down equally, you'll just see some indecision bars here. So they're going down equal amounts. So it's like, okay, Ethereum against the dollar's down 2%, Cardano against the dollar's down 2%. This is just going to be a neutral bar, an indecision bar. But let's say Cardano's got to 2.3 and now it's about to turn, and Ethereum has not got to its support yet. Well, then you're going to see Cardano go against Ethereum going up, even more so than Cardano versus the dollar. Because if Ethereum is going down, it's decreasing in value. It's worth less than the dollar. So Cardano could be going up against the dollar and against Ethereum, but it could be doing better against Ethereum. But I think the biggest point of all of this is not which is better, because the reality is if you've invested all your capital and you don't have spare dollars, then it's like, well, how do I buy Cardano? Well, I have Ethereum, I have Bitcoin. Which is going to make me more money? So like I did something the other day. I swapped some of my Bitcoin for Ripple and I posted it in the group. And here's what happened. Ripple went up quite a bit. Bitcoin also went up. But the profit that I made from Ripple was more than I would have made had I just held Bitcoin. So then Bitcoin was, say I did that swap where Bitcoin was 47,000 and then I buy Bitcoin back at 50. Most people would think, well, you've paid more for it, but that's not the case. What I've done is I've made more money from Ripple, taken that profit, bought back at 50, but I've still got more spare money because I wouldn't otherwise have been able to do that transaction if I didn't swap my Bitcoin, if I didn't have more dollars. So I don't know if that's all confusing, but that's kind of a real big part of, what we do, what we teach, and a big part of how I've grown my account is this kind of active management. So now I know there's value here in Cardano against Ethereum. Now I would do the same thing against Bitcoin. Like, actually, should I be swapping ADA for Bitcoin? And I would do the same thing, and I'd sit here and analyze this again and work it out, and that way, that 20% allocation is not just it's not just staying there. I'm actually actively managing it. So you can see here, Cardano has not done as good as Bitcoin recently, but luckily for me, I was in Bitcoin and not in Cardano. But now we're at support. We're near that 50 EMA. So now you might start to think, well, actually, this might be a good area to swap some of that Bitcoin for Cardano, because Cardano may outperform it. Does that make sense?
That's next level, mate. That is next level. And you can tell that you are the seasoned professional trader. Like, that's the next level, again, to look at. So, yeah, it's starting to make sense. I mean, I speak on behalf of all of us. If anybody else has got any questions, just let us know. But we're coming to the end of the show. So before we close out, we're going to give you the answer to the question.
Did anyone work it out? I haven't worked it out.
No. We've had a few answers. It was close. So thanks to James for being specific. Cardano is a 50% ROI. Ethereum is 48% ROI.
Wow. So Yeah, I mean, with that maths, the thing that you've got to, just the last thing I'll say about that is we're looking at that result as the end game. But in between, if that, think about it like this, if that was a fact, guys, if that was a fact and it was really going to happen, so 50%, 48%. So imagine Ethereum goes down 5%, Cardano goes up 15% in the next few days. Well, now it switches, doesn't it, in that moment? Does that make sense? Because now Cardano's only got 35 to go, whereas Ethereum has got 50 odd to go. So now you might start to think maybe there's a swab midway, because it's like being pumped too much. So if that's the end game, but they don't go together, they're not necessarily run together. So it's like money moves around, and institutions trade these bitcoins, these bigger coins. So they might be in Cardano, they'll take profit, and where's it going to go? It's going to go somewhere else, and it'll probably go into Ethereum because it's undervalued in that moment, like for like. So you don't have to do all of this stuff, guys. If this is too complicated or it's above you, but I'm sharing it really just because if it's there for you, use it. Like hopefully if you've had an understanding of what I'm saying, then definitely use it because it's super powerful.
Well, we need to come and sit in your study and do it with you. That would be the ideal world. So before we go, Daniil's got a question. This is a quick one, so we'll just finish with this one. Do you use this approach just for the major cryptos? Yeah,
so that's what I was kind of saying before. Like the exception to that rule is if I've got a coin that I know has gone parabolic. So it's happened to one of my coins recently, as I mentioned, off the back of the masterclass, the Cello one, which did over 100% in a couple of hours. So I only took 25% off the table off that one. In hindsight, I could have done a bit more because it's back down now. And I did it with Eternity as well because I bought that one low and that got really, really pumped up. So I think I was in it from $6 and it ran to $20 very quickly, $24, and I got out about 21. Not out, about 50% close. So if I get alerts when there's a rapid increase in one of my coins, so if I see that, then I will definitely look to, because I know it's unnatural, like what's happened. So I know that there'll probably be, especially if it happens really quick. Like Solana is going up a lot, but it's not like it's just doubled like that. It's gone up steadily every day. That's a bit different. But like if something's gone up 100%, and it's just an overreaction to something that's gone on. So in that case, I will manage that situation and take some off the table. But in general, I will keep 20% of my portfolio, roughly, in the three majors: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, and Ripple's added to that now as well. And then I will move money across those 3 or 4 cryptos when I see that there's more value in one over another. That's really it. You can't do it for everything. It's too much, way too much for me. So I wouldn't be able to keep up. So it just keeps my brain simple, right? Where's Cardano versus Ethereum? Where's Ethereum versus Bitcoin? Where's Bitcoin versus Cardano? And then I'll just say, right, Bitcoin's good value, Cardano's good value, Ethereum's a bit overpriced. I'll let Ethereum come down a bit. I'll move some money over to those two. And once they go up, I might swap them. So when Ethereum gets to my support, I might say, okay, Bitcoin's gone, Cardano's gone. I'll switch some back. So in simple terms, yes, in general, I keep it with the majors.
And that was his one-word answer.
Yeah, I don't have one-word answers. I'm sorry.
Imagine the depth that he goes to in for behind closed doors and in our private groups. That's all I'm going to say on that one. So look, Darth Demi strikes again. Very, very good show. Thank you very much for the content. Is there anything else you want to say before we vamos today?
No, I think I've said a lot. I don't stop talking.
Go and have some lunch. It's your lunchtime, isn't it? So, yeah.
It is. I might actually hit the gym instead and have a protein shake.
Posh gym or pay as you go?
I'm going to have to go with the posh one.
If they're open, then you may as well, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Not very often, by the sounds of it, what you were speaking about a couple of days ago. So look, you have a great workout, guys, wherever you are around the world, if it's your evening time or your lunchtime or your morning. Thank you very much for joining us live on Facebook and YouTube. This is your group, the Crypto and FX Traders Club, with me, Gavin, the host, and the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Andy Demi. Crypto Like a Pro, the live show, is what you've been watching, sponsored by the London Trading Institute. Thank you very much for your time. Mic drop, Mr. Demi, please, and we're out.
Boom.